My stomach growled so loud I thought Emma, my best friend, might hear it. I pressed my hand against my belly and smiled anyway, watching her unwrap her chocolate bar. Want some, Eva? She offered. No thanks, I lied, my voice bright. I had a huge breakfast. I hadn't. Stepmom Patricia had made pancakes this morning, fluffy, golden ones that smelled like heaven, but she'd placed them just for her and Dad. When I'd reached for one, her perfectly manicured hand had slapped mine away. Those aren't for mistakes, she'd hissed when Dad left for work. I was 7. I knew what mistake meant. Come on. Emma grabbed my hand, her eyes sparkling. Let's go do the Mentos prank. My brother showed me this video where Eva. I turned. Mom stood by the park gate, her coat too thin for the London cold, her face tired. She worked 3 jobs, and I barely saw her anymore. Not since Dad remarried and kicked us out. Not since we'd been living in that tiny flat above the laundromat. Stay where I can see you, she called. But Emma was already pulling me toward the street, toward the shiny black cars parked outside Giovanni's, the fancy Italian restaurant where men in suits always gathered. Just one prank, Eva. Please. I looked back at Mom. She was talking to another parent, distracted. My stomach growled again. Inside Giovanni's, I could see tables full of food. Beautiful, untouched food. Okay, I whispered. But fast. We crept to the window. Inside, a man sat alone in the corner booth. Even sitting, he looked tall. His black suit probably cost more than our rent. His dark brown hair was perfectly styled, and his jaw was so sharp it could cut glass. He stared at his phone, his face cold and empty, one hand wrapped around a glass of Coke. Him, Emma breathed. He looks rich and mean. Perfect. My hands shook as I clutched the Mentos. Something about him made my chest feel weird. Not scared exactly. More like sad. Like looking at him hurt. Eva, your mom's looking. Emma hissed. I didn't think. I pushed through the restaurant door. The entire place went silent. Men in suits turned, hands moving toward their jackets. The man in the corner looked up, and his eyes, gray like storm clouds, locked onto mine. I froze. Those eyes. I'd seen them before. In the mirror. Every single day. Can I help you, little one? His voice was deep, but softer than I expected. My rehearsed lines vanished. Instead, I blurted, you look lonely. His eyes widened. Around us, his men shifted uncomfortably. I held up the Mentos, my cheeks burning. My friend dared me to give you this. For your Coke. It makes it fizzy and fun and you always do what your friends dare you to? He tilted his head, studying me. No, I admitted. But you look sad. And sad people should have fun things. Something flickered across his face. Pain, maybe. Or surprise. He glanced at the Mentos, then at me. Really at me. Taking in my tangled brown hair, my gray eyes, my coat with the broken zipper. What's your name? Eva. Eva Mitchell. Mitchell, he repeated slowly, like the name meant something. How old are you, Eva? 7 3/4. The corner of his mouth twitched. Very specific. He took the Mentos from my hand, his fingers warm. You know what happens when you put these in Coke, don't you? I bit my lip. It explodes. It explodes, he confirmed. But instead of being angry, he looked amused. You were going to prank me. I'm sorry. The words stumbled out. I didn't mean we were just. Eva Rose Mitchell. My whole body went cold. Mom burst through the door, her face white with terror. She grabbed my arm, yanking me backward, her eyes locked on the man. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Harrington." She didn't mean, "We'll go, please." She knew his name. Mom knew his name. "Sophia," he breathed, standing slowly. All 6 foot something of him. "Sophia Chen." Mom's grip on my arm tightened so hard it hurt. "We're leaving." "You know each other?" I asked. "No," Mom said quickly. "Yes," he said at the same time. They stared at each other. The air felt thick, heavy, like before a thunderstorm. "Ava!" Emma screamed from outside. "Run!" I didn't know why I ran. Maybe because Mom's hand was shaking. Maybe because the man, Mr. Harrington, looked at me like I was a ghost. I pulled free and bolted, Emma's hand finding mine as we raced down the street, our laughter mixing with fear. Behind us, I heard Mom's voice, high and panicked, "Stay away from us, Liam." "I mean it." Liam. The man from Mom's old photos. The one she cried over sometimes when she thought I was asleep. 2 days later, everything changed. Patricia found my hidden granola bars, the ones I'd been sneaking from the kitchen. She dragged me down the stairs by my hair while Dad was at work, screaming about stealing and ungrateful little thieves. "You're just like your mother," she spat, throwing me out the front door. Worthless. My knees hit the concrete. Blood trickled down my shin. Through my tears, I saw a black car slow down across the street. The window rolled down. Gray eyes met mine. "Ava?" Mr. Harrington, Liam, was out of the car in seconds. He knelt in front of me, his face furious. "Who did this?" His voice was quiet. Deadly quiet. "My stepmom." I wiped my nose. "But it's okay." "I'm okay." "You're bleeding." He looked at my knee, then at Patricia in the doorway. Something dangerous flashed in his eyes. "You put your hands on her?" Patricia paled. "This is none of your..." "I'm making it my business." He stood, and suddenly he wasn't just tall. He was terrifying. "Touch her again, and you'll learn exactly who I am." He scooped me up like I weighed nothing. I should have been scared. Instead, I felt safe for the first time in months. "Where's your mother?" "Work." "The cafe on Elm Street." He carried me to his car. Inside, it smelled like leather and cologne. His driver's eyes widened when he saw me. "Boss." "Drive," Liam said. Then, softer, to me, "Let's find your mom, yeah?" I nodded against his chest. His heartbeat was fast, like he'd been running. "Mr. Harrington?" "Liam," he corrected gently. "Liam, why are your hands shaking?" He looked down at where he held me, at his trembling fingers. "I don't know, little one." "You tell me." Mom's face when she saw us was a painting of every emotion at once. Fear. Shock. Anger. And something else. Something warm. "Put her down," she whispered. She was thrown out. Bleeding. By her stepmother. Each word was a blade. "How long has this been happening, Sophia?" "That's not your concern." "The hell it isn't." His shout made me jump. He immediately lowered his voice. "Sorry, Ava." "I'm sorry." He set me down carefully, then faced Mom. "She looks like she hasn't eaten in days." "We're managing." "You're starving." He ran a hand through his hair. "Both of you. I can see it. We don't need your help." "Maybe not. But she does." He pointed at me. "And I'm offering." Mom's eyes filled with tears. Why? Why do you care? Because, he stopped. Swallowed. I don't know. But I do. Let me help. Please. That night, we moved into Liam's penthouse. This is your room, Liam said, opening a door to reveal a bedroom bigger than our entire flat. There was a huge bed with fluffy pillows, shelves waiting for books, and a window overlooking the city lights. I turned to him, suspicious. Why are you being nice? Can't I just be nice? People aren't just nice. Not to me. Something broke in his expression. He knelt down, eye level with me. Then they're idiots. Because you, Ava Mitchell, are extraordinary. You don't even know me. Then let me try. He held out his hand. Deal? I look at his hand. Large, calloused, with a scar across the knuckles. A hand that had probably hurt people. But when I placed my small hand in his, it was gentle. Deal? Over the next weeks, Liam was different than I expected. He hired a chef who made my favorite foods. He carried band-aids in his pocket after I scraped my knee skateboarding. He sat through 3 hours of me playing terrible piano because I wanted to learn. When I had nightmares about Patricia, he'd sit outside my door until I fell back asleep. Why don't you come in? I asked one night, finding him in the hallway. Didn't want to scare you. You don't scare me. No. He smiled. Most people think I'm terrifying. You're a marshmallow. He laughed, really laughed. Don't let that get out. Bad for my reputation. But with others, he was the man from the restaurant. Cold. Commanding. Dangerous. Except with me. And, I noticed, with Mom. I watched them dance around each other for weeks. The way Liam's eyes followed Mom across the room. How Mom's cheeks turned pink when he complimented her cooking. The careful distance they maintained, like one wrong move would shatter everything. Do you like my mom? I asked him one night during our chess game. His hand froze over a pawn. That's a complicated question. It's yes or no. Yes, he admitted quietly. But it's not that simple. Why not? Because I hurt her once. A long time ago. And I'm not sure she can forgive that. Did you say sorry? Some things sorry doesn't fix, Ava. I moved my knight. Checkmate. He blinked at the board. You've been hustling me. Emma's dad taught me. I grinned. Also, you should tell Mom you like her. She looks at you the same way. His whole face transformed. Hope, raw and desperate. She does? The dinner party was Liam's business associate's idea. You need to show you're settled, Liam. Respectable. I wore the dress Liam bought me, dark blue velvet that made me feel like a princess. Mom looked beautiful in her red gown, though she seemed nervous. You'll be fine, Liam murmured to her, his hand on her lower back. Stay close to me. The mansion was massive. Crystal chandeliers. Ice sculptures. Women in gowns that probably cost more than a car. Who's the child? A blonde woman asked, her lips pursed as she looked at me. This is Ava, Liam said firmly. She's your charity case, another woman interrupted, laughing. How sweet. Playing house. Watch yourself, Vanessa, Liam's voice dropped to that dangerous quiet. But they didn't stop. All night, they circled like sharks. Poor thing, so skinny. Is that dress from last season? Where's her real father, anyway? I tried to be brave. I smiled and stayed quiet like Mom taught me. But when Vanessa grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise, hissing, "Stay away from Liam, you little leech," something inside me cracked. I ran. I found a bathroom and locked myself inside, tears streaming down my face. I was so stupid. I didn't belong here. I was just Ava? Liam's voice, gentle through the door. Can I come in? I unlocked it. He filled the doorway, his face tight with anger. Did she hurt you? He examined my arm, finding the red marks. His jaw clenched. I'm going to. Please don't leave me, I whispered. He stopped. Look at me. Then pulled me into his arms. Never, he said fiercely. Do you hear me? Never. They can say whatever they want about me, but they don't get to hurt you. They said I don't belong. Then they're blind. He tilted my chin up. You belong wherever you want to be. And if you want to be here, with me, then nothing will take that away. Promise? I promise, little one. He carried me out of that party, Mom at his side. Behind us, Vanessa was being escorted out by security. You threw her out? Mom asked, stunned. I don't tolerate cruelty. Especially not to Ava. He looked at me. No one hurts he stopped. Swallowed. No one hurts her. 3 months in, Liam took us to the private clinic. Just routine checkups, he'd said. For both of you. Making sure you're healthy after everything. But I saw him pocket something from the doctor. An envelope marked DNA results. I didn't understand then. But I do now. I woke up to shouting. 8 years, Sophia. 8 years you kept her from me. You weren't ready. You were building an empire on blood and violence. She's my daughter. I crept to the stairs. Mom and Liam stood in the living room, the DNA results scattered on the floor between them. I did what I thought was right, Mom said, crying. That night, it was supposed to be just one night. Then I found out I was pregnant, and you were. A monster, Liam finished bitterly. I know what I was. But Sophia, I would have changed. For her. For you. Would you? Or would you have pulled us into your world? Had her see the things you did? I'm not that man anymore. I've been trying to go legitimate. To be better. Because every time I look at her, his voice broke. Every time I look at Ava, I see everything I could have had. Everything I lost. Mom's face crumpled. She's ours. She's ours, he agreed. And I love her, Sophia. I loved her before I knew. And I love you. I never stopped. Liam. I know I don't deserve you. Either of you. But let me try. Let me be her father. Really be her father. I couldn't hold back anymore. You already are. They spun around. I stood on the stairs in my pajamas, tears streaming down my face. Ava, Liam started. You're my dad, I said. The DNA thing just confirms it. But I already knew. In my heart. You're my dad. He crossed the room in 3 strides and swept me into his arms, holding me so tight I could barely breathe. He was crying, this dangerous, powerful man was crying into my hair. My daughter, he whispered. My little girl. Mom joined us, her arms around us both, and we stood there in the middle of the living room, finally whole. But peace never lasts in our world. The kidnapping happened on a Tuesday. I was leaving school with Mom when the van pulled up. Men in masks. Rough hands. A cloth over my face that smelled sweet and wrong. Ava. Mom's scream was the last thing I heard. I woke up in darkness. Cold concrete. My hands zip-tied behind my back. Fear tasted like metal in my mouth. She's awake, a voice said. Call him. Minutes later, a phone rang nearby. Someone answered. Harrington. We have your daughter. My father's voice came through, deadly calm. If you've hurt her, I will tear this city apart to find you. 50 million. Unmarked bills. You have 6 hours. You have 5 minutes to release her before I show you why people fear my name. They laughed. Big words for. The explosion came first. Then gunfire. Screaming. The door burst open, and Liam stormed through like an avenging angel, gun in hand, his men flanking him. He moved like violence was an art form. Precise. Brutal. Efficient. When he found me in the corner, blood splattered and terrifying, his expression shattered. Ava. Oh God, Ava. He cut my zip ties with shaking hands, checking me for injuries, his touch impossibly gentle despite the chaos around us. Dad, I whispered. His eyes closed. I've got you, sweetheart. I've got you. He carried me out through the smoke and bodies, shielding my eyes from the worst of it. Mom was waiting by his car, sobbing, and when she saw us, she collapsed with relief. That night, I learned exactly who my father was. What he'd done. What he was capable of. And I loved him anyway. 1 year later. Ava. Come on, we'll be late. I grinned, finishing my braids. My 9th birthday party was being held at Dad's estate, the one he'd bought specifically because it had a huge garden for me and Emma to play in. Downstairs, Dad was arguing with the caterer about the cake. Mom watched from the doorway, laughing at how seriously he took this. It needs to be perfect, Sophia. It's her 9th birthday. Liam, she's 9. She won't care if the roses are fondant or buttercream. I care, he grumbled. You're impossible, Mom said, but she kissed his cheek. They'd gotten married last month. Small ceremony, just family. I'd been the flower girl, Emma my bridesmaid. Dad had cried during the vows. Hey, Marshmallow, I called, bouncing into the kitchen. He turned, his stern expression melting into a smile. Hey, troublemaker. You ready? Are you? He pulled me into a hug. Fatherhood is the scariest thing I've ever done. And I've done a lot of scary things. You're doing great. Yeah. The best. Outside, I could hear Emma and the other kids arriving. Music started playing. The party was beginning. But for this moment, it was just us. Me, Mom, and Dad. The family that started with a prank, survived separation and danger, and found each other anyway. I love you, Dad, I whispered. He kissed the top of my head. I love you too, Ava. My perfect, pranking, brave little girl. Forever. Forever, I agreed. Because some families are born. And some families are built, piece by piece, choice by choice, through pain and laughter and Mentos pranks. Ours was both. And it was perfect. Sometimes the best families aren't the ones we're born into, but the ones we fight for. Sometimes love means letting go, and sometimes it means holding on with everything you have. And sometimes, a little girl with gray eyes and a mischievous heart is exactly what a broken man needs to become whole again.